In the year 50,000 AD, a vast alien spaceship soared through the dark space towards Earth. The ship belonged to the Zelthar, a powerful and ancient race known for their strength and advanced technology. As they approached the blue planet, the Zelthar commanders were filled with excitement. They had heard stories of Earth's beauty, but believed it had become an empty wasteland after a great ice age. The Zelthar thought they would find a lifeless planet ready to claim it for themselves. The ship landed on the icy surface with a loud thud, shaking the ground. The Zelthar stepped out, their tall, thin bodies covered in shining armor. They looked around, expecting to see nothing but ice and snow. Instead, they found strange signs. There were structures peeking through the ice, looking like ancient buildings. Bright lights flickered beneath the surface, pulsing with energy. "Prepare the scanners!" commanded General Vorak, the leader of the Zelthar team. His voice was deep and commanding. The soldiers quickly set up their equipment, eager to discover what lay beneath the frozen surface. As they scanned the area, the readings showed life forms. This was a surprise. The Zelthar had expected to find nothing, but now they sensed movement. "Is this a mistake?" asked a young soldier named Zorak, his voice trembling with disbelief. "How can there be life here?" General Vorak frowned, his sharp eyes narrowing. "There must be something we missed. We need to investigate further." The team moved cautiously, their boots crunching on the ice. They followed the signals deeper into the icy land. The closer they got, the more signs of life they found. There were hidden tunnels and underground chambers. The Zelthar felt a mix of curiosity and fear. Who could live in such harsh conditions? Suddenly, one of the soldiers shouted, "Look over here!" He pointed to a large entrance covered in ice. As they cleared the snow, a massive door appeared, engraved with ancient symbols. General Vorak felt a thrill of excitement. This could be a treasure trove of information. With a wave of his hand, he ordered the door to be opened. As it creaked open, a rush of warm air escaped, surprising the soldiers. Inside, they found a grand chamber filled with light and color. The walls were lined with strange technology and beautiful artwork. It was a hidden city, a place where humans had survived against all odds. "Unbelievable," General Vorak whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. "They are still here!" As the soldiers explored the chamber, they discovered signs of human life. Pictures of people and their daily lives decorated the walls. There were weapons and tools clearly designed for battle. The humans had not only survived, they had thrived. Meanwhile, in the depths of the underground city, Kale, the leader of the surviving humans, felt the tremors above. He gathered his people, who had lived in hiding for thousands of years. They had adapted to the cold and learned to fight to protect their home. "Prepare the defenses!" Kale shouted, his voice strong and determined. "We must be ready. The aliens have come, but we will not be caught off guard." His people moved swiftly, armed with weapons made from ancient technology. They set traps and reinforced their defenses. Kale knew they had to protect their world from the Zelthar. As the Zelthar soldiers marveled at the hidden city, they were unaware of the storm that was brewing beneath the ice. Humanity had endured, and they were ready to fight back. The aliens had expected an easy conquest, but they were about to learn a valuable lesson: never underestimate the will of humans. With the Zelthar oblivious to the danger lurking in the shadows, the stage was set for an epic confrontation. Little did they know, the fight for Earth had just begun. Deep beneath the icy surface of Earth, in a vast underground city, humans had survived the harsh conditions for thousands of years. This city, called Eldoria, was a marvel of ancient design, filled with towering structures and glowing lights. The air was warm and fresh, a stark contrast to the freezing world above. The people of Eldoria had learned to adapt, creating a life hidden from the alien eyes above. Kale, the leader of the humans, stood on a high platform overlooking the bustling city. He watched as his people went about their daily lives, their faces filled with determination. Kale felt a sense of pride. They had faced many challenges over the years, and now they were ready for this new threat. As he gazed into the distance, a young scout named Lyra approached. She had wild hair and bright eyes, always filled with curiosity. "Kale, we've picked up strange signals from above. It seems the aliens are moving closer," she reported, her voice tinged with urgency. Kale nodded, his expression serious. "We must prepare. They will not find us easy to conquer." He called a meeting, gathering the leaders of each district within Eldoria. They needed a plan. As the leaders assembled, Kyle stood tall and spoke with conviction. "We have lived in hiding for too long. The Zelthar believe they can take our home without a fight. We will show them the strength of humanity." The room buzzed with energy as the leaders discussed their options. They had advanced technology from their ancestors, weapons, and machines designed for battle. They could use these tools to defend their city. They also had the advantage of knowledge, understanding their underground home better than any alien could. Meanwhile, the Zelthar continued their exploration of the hidden chambers. They were amazed by the beauty of Eldoria, but also puzzled. How had humans survived for so long? They found remnants of human life, tools, clothes, and even artworks that depicted their history and struggles. General Vorak began to realize that the humans were not just survivors, they were fighters. Back in Eldoria, Kale led his people in training. They practiced with their weapons, learning to fight as a united force. Lyra was among the most skilled fighters, her speed and agility making her a valuable asset. Kale admired her spirit and often sought her advice. "We must set traps for the aliens," Lyra suggested one day during training. "If they try to invade, we can catch them off guard." Kale agreed, and they began to devise a plan. They would use the tunnels and hidden passages of Eldoria to their advantage. They created barriers and laid traps ready to defend their home against the invaders. The humans worked day and night, fueled by a fierce determination to protect their way of life. As preparations continued, Kale often thought about his ancestors. They had faced challenges of their own, fighting for survival in a world that had once been warm and welcoming. Now they had to fight again, not just for themselves, but for the future of humanity. Meanwhile, General Vorak ordered more scans of the area. He was determined to uncover the secrets of Eldoria. He believed that if they could find the entrance to the underground city, they could take control of the situation. The Zelthar's arrogance grew, as they still believed the humans were weak. Back in Eldoria, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. Kale gathered his people one last time before the anticipated battle. "We are not just fighting for survival, we are fighting for our home, our future. The Zelthar think they can take what is ours. But they will learn that humanity is strong. Together we will defend Eldoria." The crowd erupted in cheers, their spirits high. They were ready to face the aliens, armed with the knowledge that they had endured against all odds. As they prepared for battle, Kale felt a sense of unity among his people. They were more than survivors. They were warriors, ready to reclaim their world. With the sun setting above the ice, the humans of Eldoria stood united, prepared to show the Zelthar the true meaning of resilience. The battle for their future was about to begin. The day had finally arrived. The Zelthar were ready to launch their first attack on Eldoria. General Vorak stood on the command platform of his spaceship, watching the icy landscape below. His soldiers were eager for battle, confident in their strength. They believed the humans would be easy to defeat, just as they had expected when they first arrived. "Prepare the troops," Vorak commanded, his voice booming. "Today we take this city and show them the power of the Zelthar." Meanwhile, in Eldoria, Kyle and his people were also ready. They had spent days setting traps and preparing their defenses. The underground city buzzed with activity as everyone took their positions. Kale stood at the front, a determined look on his face. He knew this would be a crucial moment for humanity. "Stay sharp," Kale called to his people, gathering everyone around. "We have trained for this day. Remember, we fight for our home!" As the humans took their places, Lyra was stationed near a hidden entrance. She felt a mix of excitement and fear. This would be her first battle, and she was ready to show her strength. Kale had faith in her abilities, and she wanted to make him proud. Above them, the Zelthar ships descended, their engines roaring. The ground shook as they landed, sending plumes of snow into the air. The aliens stepped out, their armor glinting in the dim light. They moved forward in a disciplined formation, ready to crush any resistance. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout Eldoria. The first wave of Zelthar soldiers approached, marching confidently toward the entrance of the underground city. Kale signaled to his team, and they prepared themselves for the fight ahead. "Now!" Kale shouted as he pressed a hidden button. The ground shook and traps sprang to life. Huge nets flew through the air, ensnaring several Zelthar soldiers. Others fell into pits covered with snow, their shouts echoing through the icy air. The Zelthar were taken by surprise, stumbling and falling as the traps caught them off guard. Kale and his people quickly charged out from their hiding places, weapons in hand. They fought fiercely, using their knowledge of the tunnels to their advantage. Lyra darted through the chaos, moving like a shadow. She spotted an alien soldier aiming at her fellow humans and quickly threw a spear, hitting him in the chest. The soldier fell, and Lyra felt a rush of adrenaline. She was ready to fight for her home. The battle raged on, filled with the sounds of clashing weapons and cries of bravery. The humans fought with all their might, using the elements of surprise to overwhelm the Zelthar. They pushed forward, refusing to let fear take control. Meanwhile, General Vorak watched in shock as his troops began to falter. "Regroup," he shouted, trying to regain control. But it was too late. The humans were relentless, their spirit igniting a fierce fire in the heat of battle. As the fight continued, Kale found himself face to face with a Zelthar commander. The commander was tall and intimidating, his armor shining even in the darkness. They exchanged blows, their weapons clashing with a loud ring. Kale felt the weight of his people's hope resting on his shoulders. "I will not let you take our home," Kale shouted, swinging his weapon with all his strength. He could see the determination in the commander's eyes, but he refused to back down. Suddenly, Lyra appeared at Kale's side, her own weapon drawn. Together, they fought fiercely against the alien commander. Their teamwork was flawless, and they began to wear him down. Just as victory seemed within reach, the Zelthar forces regrouped, launching a counterattack. The humans, although brave, started to feel the pressure. They had fought hard, but the aliens were powerful, and their numbers were vast. Kale realized they needed to retreat and regroup. "Fall back!" he commanded, his voice ringing through the chaos. "We need to protect Eldoria!" With heavy hearts, the humans pulled back into the tunnels, fighting their way to safety. As they retreated, Kyle felt a mix of pride and sorrow. They had fought bravely but knew the battle was far from over. As the Zelthar secured the area, General Vorak stood tall, realizing that this fight would not be easy. The humans had shown strength and courage, and he knew they were not to be underestimated. The first battle had been fought, and although the humans had retreated, they were far from defeated. They had endured, and they would rise again. After the fierce battle, the humans of Eldoria were left shaken, but determined. They had fought bravely against the Zelthar, but their losses weighed heavily on their hearts. Kyle gathered his people in the central hall, a large room with glowing walls that pulsed with energy. They needed to regroup and come up with a new plan. "We may have retreated, but we are not defeated," Kale declared, his voice steady. "The Zelthar may think they have won, but we will show them what it means to be human." Lyra stood beside him, feeling a fire ignite in her chest. "We need to find a way to turn the tide. Maybe we can use the tunnels to our advantage again." "The Zelthar don't know the layout of this place like we do," she suggested. The room buzzed with excitement as others chimed in, sharing ideas. But just as they were forming a plan, a loud crash echoed from the entrance of the hall. Everyone turned, weapons ready, fearing another attack. To their surprise, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a tall being with silver skin and bright blue eyes, an alien unlike the Zelthar. The humans tensed, unsure if this was a friend or foe. "Wait! I am not your enemy," the alien said, raising its hands. "My name is Alicia. I am a member of the Arkan race. I have come to help you." Kyle stepped forward cautiously. "Why should we trust you? Your kind has fought against us." Alicia shook her head. "I am not like the Zelthar. They invade and conquer. We Arkan are explorers, seeking knowledge and truth. I have seen what the Zelthar are doing to your world, and I cannot stand by." Lyra exchanged glances with Kyle. Could they really trust this stranger? "What can you do to help us?" she asked, still wary. Alicia smiled softly, her eyes full of determination. "I know the Zelthar's weaknesses. They believe they are invincible, but they have blind spots. I can guide you through their defenses and help you strike back." Kale considered her words carefully. "If what you say is true, then we need your help. But understand, if you betray us, I will not hesitate to fight." "I understand," Alicia replied, her voice calm. "But I promise you my intentions are pure. Together we can turn the tide against the Zelthar." With a collective decision, the humans welcomed Alicia into their midst. She shared her knowledge of the Zelthar's technology and battle strategies. The humans listened intently, eager to learn and adapt. Alicia taught them how to disrupt the Zelthar's communications and create diversions. Over the next few days, the humans worked tirelessly, combining their efforts with Alicia's insights. They practiced new tactics and honed their skills, preparing for the next confrontation. The atmosphere shifted from fear to determination as they saw a glimmer of hope. One evening, as they planned their next move, Lyra found herself speaking with Elysia alone. "Why do you want to help us so much?" she asked, genuinely curious. Elysia looked thoughtful. "I have watched the Zelthar destroy countless worlds. They take without considering the lives they harm. You humans have a spirit that I admire. You fight for each other, for your home. I want to be part of something meaningful." Lyra nodded, feeling a bond forming. "Thank you for standing with us. We can do this together." As the days passed, the humans grew stronger. With Elysia's guidance, they developed a bold plan to ambush the Zelthar during their next attack. They would use the tunnels to move swiftly and silently, catching the aliens off guard. On the day of the planned ambush, tension filled the air. Kale and Lyra stood at the forefront with Elysia beside them. They waited for the signal to strike, their hearts racing with anticipation. When the Zelthar approached, the humans sprang into action. They moved quickly through the tunnels, surprising the alien soldiers with unexpected attacks. Elysia's strategies proved effective, and the tide of battle began to turn. As chaos erupted, Kale fought fiercely alongside his people. He could see the determination in their eyes, the will to protect their home. Lyra darted through the fray, striking down enemies with precision. In the midst of the battle, Elysia used her knowledge to disable a key Zelthar weapon, turning the fight in the humans' favor. The Zelthar were thrown into disarray, struggling to regroup. Victory was within reach, and for the first time, the humans felt the thrill of hope. They were no longer alone in this fight. They had an unexpected ally. Together, they would show the Zelthar that Earth was not an empty world, but a home worth fighting for. The sun rose over Eldoria, casting a warm glow on the ice-covered land. After the fierce battle with the Zelthar, the humans gathered in the central hall, their hearts filled with hope. They had fought bravely, and their unexpected ally Elysia had helped them turn the tide. They had defeated the Zelthar and protected their home. Kale stood before his people, feeling a surge of pride. "We have proven that we are strong, united, and unbreakable," he declared, his voice echoing in the hall. "Today we celebrate our victory and honor those who fought for our future." The humans cheered, their spirits lifted. They had come together as a community, fighting not just for survival, but for a brighter future. Lyra smiled at Kyle, grateful for the strength he had shown throughout their struggle. As they celebrated, Elysia joined Kale and Lyra. "You have done something incredible here," she said, her blue eyes shining. "You showed courage and resilience. I am proud to stand with you." "Thank you for your help, Elysia," Kale replied, extending his hand. "Without you, we might not have succeeded." Elysia accepted his hand, feeling a sense of belonging. "Together we can build a new future. The Zelthar will not return, and we have a chance to create a better world." After the celebration, the humans gathered to discuss their next steps. They needed to rebuild and ensure their city was safe from future threats. "We should strengthen our defenses and improve our technology," Lyra suggested. "We have learned a lot from the Zelthar, and we can use that knowledge to protect our home." Kale nodded, appreciating her determination. "We can work together with Elysia to understand their technology better. She can help us adapt it for our needs." Elysia agreed, excited about the possibilities. "I can teach you how to enhance your weapons and shields. Together, we can create something powerful." As days turned into weeks, the humans worked tirelessly to rebuild Eldoria. They combined their skills with Elysia's knowledge, creating new technologies that would keep them safe. The once quiet city began to buzz with energy and innovation. Lyra found herself more inspired than ever. She took on a leadership role, guiding her fellow humans in their efforts. They trained together, growing stronger and more confident. Each day, they became more prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. One day, as they were testing a new energy shield, a group of children watched with wide eyes. Lyra noticed their fascination and decided to include them in the training. "Come here! You can help us!" she called, inviting them to join. The children cheered and rushed forward, eager to learn. Lyra smiled, knowing that the future of Eldoria was in their hands. She taught them basic skills, showing them how to protect their home. Meanwhile, Kale and Elysia worked on advanced technology. They developed a communication system that would allow them to connect with other surviving human groups around the world. "If we can reach out, we may find others who survived," Kale said, his eyes filled with hope. Elysia nodded. "We can build a network, share knowledge, and strengthen our communities. Together we can form a united front against any future threats." As they sent out signals, a sense of excitement filled the air. It was a new beginning for Eldoria, one filled with hope and possibility. The humans were no longer just survivors, they were rebuilding their world, forging connections, and preparing for a brighter future. Days turned into months, and the city of Eldoria flourished. The community grew stronger, with Alessia becoming an integral part of their lives. She shared her culture and knowledge, fostering a bond between the Arcan and the humans. One day, while standing on a hill overlooking Eldoria, Kyle and Lyra gazed at the city bustling with activity. "Look at what we've built," Kale said, pride swelling in his chest. "We are stronger together." Lyra smiled, feeling a sense of belonging. "This is just the beginning. We have a future now, and we will protect it." As the sun set behind the icy peaks, casting a warm glow over the city, Kale, Lyra, and Alicia stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had created a new beginning for their people, one filled with hope, strength, and unity. The world was no longer empty, it was alive with possibilities. Together, they would continue to thrive and protect their home, ensuring that the spirit of humanity endured for generations to come.